Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And today, once again, I'm excited to share with you guys another Invicta watch. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I reviewed one of the newer Invicta lines called the Blue Label Edition. It was their Ghost Bridge version of what I would consider a mid-size Grand Arsenal or Grand Octane. Although they don't call it that, they call it just a Pro Diver. And, you know, it was a beautiful watch, and I say was because I ended up sending it back. You know, I love the watch, but for the price, I paid about $210 before shipping. And for the price of the watch, 47 millimeters really hard for me to go back to, at least in an Invicta watch. Now, I'm not saying if this other one that I picked up instead, which I'm about to show you, was not available, I definitely would have kept the Ghost Bridge Blue Label. But, you know, they had for roughly about $75, $80 more. That was with next day air because I was so impatient. They had their full-size Grand Arsenal or Grand Octane, and I just had to get it. And I'll put a link in the description for where I picked this up. And, you know, I mean, just when you're spending about $200, what's the difference between spending $300? That's the way I look at it sometimes. And, you know, I love the Grand Arsenal. You guys know if you've watched me for a while, it is my favorite Invicta watch, even more so than the Sea Hunter. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Sea Hunter as well, but it's really one of the biggest watches Invicta makes, and I just think style-wise, it's just stunning, and that's why I have 9 of them in different colors. They're my favorite watch. Every time I wear one, somebody compliments me on it, somebody starts a conversation about it. And, you know, I was a little bit skeptical because I really liked the way the Ghost Bridge looked with that open back, that open face. But for the money, 47 millimeters, it was great, but I had to go ahead and upgrade to this bad boy right here. And this is the Blue Label Coalition Forces. Here we go with the confusing stuff with Invicta. The Blue Label Coalition Forces Grand Octane / Grand Arsenal. Blue Label. So, that's another thing Invicta does. They make a few of these watches in the full-size Grand Arsenal or Grand Octane. They make it in what's called the Coalition Forces. And really the only difference is, and I've reviewed this watch before, what I'm going to do is repost my old video that I did on the gold one. And I always kick myself, I never purchased that because just the way they designed the face on the gold one, it really popped. And my buddy who actually purchased it, the guy who I borrowed that watch to review it, he ended up returning it just because, I don't know, it was just too big for him. He didn't care for it. So this one here is the Coalition Arsenal or Octane. And what they've done is basically on any Invicta Grand Arsenal or Grand Octane that is under the Coalition Forces name, you'll have kind of like this the face looks the same. You have kind of like this pattern right here. I'm not going to say Mercedes emblem style, but it's more of like a T. If you can see it right here. It's a little bit difficult to see on this particular watch because this watch here is done in the blue. And on the other one, and again, I'll re-upload that video or repost that video. This is done in a gold against black. So you really see that. That's the only gripe I have to say with this watch. I wish they would have done that part in gold, but nonetheless, they still did a great job with the face. And just this watch, it just popped more than the other one. And I'm really glad I made the decision to get it. So a little bit about the watch, and then we'll go ahead and show you what it looks like on the wrist. And I'm going to talk a little bit about one gripe I have lately. It's not a huge deal, but I'll talk about that in a second. All right, so it is powered by a Swiss-made Ronda Z60. A Z60 is in a lot of the larger size Invicta watches. Arguably, some will say it's not Swiss-made. Others will say it is. It is an actual Swiss-made movement. If you have a problem with movements being able to fall underneath the Swiss-made, I guess, label, then that's your problem, really, because ultimately that's, you know, watch doesn't have to be made in Switzerland to hold that name. A lot of the movements are made in Switzerland, or, and again, I'm not saying the Ronda movement is made in Switzerland, but whatever they do legally to get that insignia or that name Swiss-made, they're allowed to do that legally. So, but nonetheless, it is a Swiss-made movement, so you can feel happy and confident knowing that. It does have, again, the Z60. What I like that Invicta is doing with a lot of their watches lately is that instead of using needles or hands, they're actually using wheels, and this is what they've done. I reviewed the other watch that I just got the other day, which was, if you missed that, check it out. That's the Invicta Zeus Bolt Diamond Edition, and I talked about how they got rid of the hands and actually put on what appears to be gears, and it gives the watch a look as if it's more automatic or more mechanical, which I think is a really great cosmetic angle that they're using a lot of these different movements on their complications. And this does the same thing, and I'm not sure if you can actually see it by the video, but underneath each one of these points on the T, those are actually what would normally be your dials. Those are the dials, but they're actually wheels on there. And so you have your day, you have your minute, and you have your seconds, and they're actually on, again, a round disc as opposed to having a needle, and that disc turns or spins. And I'm not sure if you can see it by the video. Hopefully you can see the second hand moving. We're kind of being blocked by the hour marker there, but maybe you can see it just barely opposite this finger over here, opposite the day. You can see it kind of turning. Again, you have your day of the month window and your classic Grand Arsenal Grand Octane case and face. This is done, again, this is part of their blue label. So on the back you have your Coalition Forces, I guess it's kind of engraved into the watch, but it's plated with a gold. You have that gold theme going on to the back. The model number 27741 in this particular piece. And of course, water resistant to 200 meters, blue label edition stainless steel, and Swiss movement flame fusion crystal. Again, part of the blue label edition is that they combine this awesome striking royal blue with gold. And I never, like I said with the other one, I never would have thought that would have been a combination that I ever wanted to get, and look at it, it's here in my house. This is beautiful. Now the only difference between this one here and of course the one I reviewed the other day, the Ghost Bridge, is that naturally the movement in the face, of course, the case size. What the Ghost Bridge did is they used a combination of brush finish and mirror polishing. So you had brush finish down the sides of the watch, which is pretty similar to what they do on a lot of the other Grand Arsenals, and then you have mirror polishing down the center. Most of them are like that. This one here is done completely mirror polished. Now, the only thing I have to say about the blue, I hope, and we'll find out, and I will re-review at a later date, I hope that the blue holds up, because as I said with my Jason Taylor edition Grand Arsenal, the spots that are actually plated in blue, they are starting to wear a little bit. Nothing really bad, nothing really to write home about or get pissed off about, but they definitely don't hold up, I would say, on that particular one. And that's really the only Invicta I really have to say anything about the plating having an issue, just on that particular piece. And not sure maybe if I wore it a little hard, but we'll find out how this wears as well. Naturally, anything with moving parts, I mean, you're going to wear the plating off a little bit. So, like, you're going to get that around the clasp. And, you know, I just got this the other day, and unfortunately, I nicked it when I was sizing it. But not a big deal. You can barely see the nick. Absolutely stunning watch, and I'm really glad I got this. My coworkers are like, "Nah, dude, you got to get that one over the Ghost Bridge. It's just way flashier, way more me." And I'm really glad I did. And for the price, it was totally worth it. This is one flashy watch. The other day, one of my other coworkers said, "I think that's my favorite one." Even a girl at work the other day, I wear the Grand Arsenal all the time, and she was like, "Oh my God!" Now, of course, it wasn't "oh my God" that she liked it, because it's not really her thing, but she was like, "That is the biggest watch I've ever seen you wear." I'm like, no, it's not. But just, I guess, the way that the blue and the gold pop, it really is a flashy looking timepiece. And if you love the Invictas and you want to get another one in your collection, I definitely recommend getting this one, because with that mirror polish, it's just like a blue mirror. It is absolutely stunning. Even when I went to show my folks the other day, they were like, "Yep, that's the one for you." All right, so let me just put it down for a second here, and we'll throw it on the wrist in just a second. I'll show you a couple more close-ups. Just getting back to the basic specs, like I always share with you guys, 63 millimeter in case diameter, 18 millimeters in case thickness. It is made of a 316L stainless steel. They say here that let me touch on this real quick. Let me go through it and then I'll come back. All right, so the dial material is made of an alloy. You have complications are at the 3 o'clock perpetual seconds, at the 4 o'clock your date window, 6 o'clock your 30-minute, and at your 9 o'clock your day of the week. 30 millimeters in band length and 9 1/4 inch. I'm sorry, 30 millimeters in band width and 9 1/4 inches in band length. Classic deployment clasp used on pretty much all the Invictas. 660 feet, 20 ATMs, or 200 meters of water resistance, and it weighs about 14 ounces, unsized. Now, getting back to what I was about to say with the crown, push-pull crown and function pusher. This is my only gripe, and I'm not sure why they're doing this, and they did this on the Sea Hunter, because really, guys, when you're looking at picking up an Invicta Grand Arsenal, I mean, you can pick these up. I think as long as you don't get involved in the diamond ones or anything really limited, you could pick up these watches for about, I paid anywhere from highest 400 before they were really making a lot of them. That was my gold and silver version, which now you can get that watch for like $250, $300, right? And again, depends on the sales, depends on what kind of coupons you can find. You know, and I put up those new links on every video now, so definitely check them out. They're very competitive, free shipping on $99 or over, and they always have coupons like every week. So definitely a great place to buy. It's Invicta's store, Invicta Watch Store. Not to be confused with my other website, my shopping mall for Invicta is the InvictaWatches.store. I'll put links to all those in the description where you go check them all out. But like I was saying, that one thing that they're doing is that on the other Grand Arsenals that I have in that price point, even from like $229, $250 all the way up to $400, they always had screw down, crown, and function pushers. And this is something they've been doing lately, is just making them push-pull. Now what that does is it actually decreases your water resistance and your depth capacity. But you know, the thing is, it's like, do people, I know they market Invicta as a true dive watch, but I mean, really guys, are we really taking these diving? I mean, really, it's a dive, what I would consider, if you want, I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm not going along with the watch snobs here, guys. I always bring it up. I'm not saying that this, you know, when you go buying a very, very high-end luxury timepiece, like a true dive, like a true dive watch, a true dive instrument, and you want to spend $3,000, $4,000 on it, yes, you're getting something that's guaranteed, tested, it's designed for that purpose. A lot of the Invicta watches, although they, you know, I've never tested any of the Sea Hunters or the Venoms, and you know, I'm never going to do that. And I've talked to guys who have, you know, and then the battery replaced, they had it pressure tested. One guy told me it blew his machine. I don't know, you know, but anyway, I mean, realistically, it's just something I wish they wouldn't do, because it is nice to have screw down, crown, and function pushers. I just think it's more durable. But you know, the Zeus Bolt never had screw down function pushers. They only had screw down crown. My Sea Hunter, the brand new one, the one I reviewed, the iridium or the rainbow colored one, that one there, same deal. You don't have any screw down function pushers or crown. So it's definitely something I would say to cheapen the watch. I'm not going to say that in a horrible way, but this one here, $300. I've paid $300 for other Grand Arsenals and had that feature of screw down, crown, and function pushers. And realistically, any real dive watch should have that. Now, again, doesn't mean you can't take it in the water. It doesn't mean you're going to have any kind of issues. But, you know, I mean, let's face it, again, like if I was going to go diving, not that I ever do, but I surely wouldn't wear this. I would wear something that was a lot smaller, something that I'm not going to be too worried about if I bang it on a rock. This is meant to be worn. This is something you're going to be worn, you know, and be flashy. You don't wear this to you know, you can wear it to office. I wear it to work every day, but you don't wear this to, you know, a machine shop, or if you're a mechanic where you're going to be banging your wrist around. I mean, and if you do, I mean, it's to be expected you're going to scratch it, right? So, nonetheless, it's one thing I wish they didn't do. Everything else is spot on, other than that fact. I mean, you still got your screw down case back. Still got your 120, I believe it's 120 click rotating bezel. Doesn't actually say on here, but for you guys who like to hear the sound, there it is. Anyway, guys, it's a stunning timepiece, absolutely beautiful, and I'm really glad I picked it up. I mean, just awesome. And I will put, again, the link where you can pick this up for the best deal. I'm telling you, the Blue Label stuff is really quite stunning. Again, I never would have thought a combination like this would be something that I'd want to own, and now I'm just, you know, they're beautiful. So let's check it out. Let's take another close-up of the face, the sides with the Invicta etched right into the side of the watch. Invicta's pretty iconic for doing that. All mirror polished in that royal blue finish, and your function pushers and crown. Like I said, everything exactly just like your standard Grand Arsenal, with the exception of the coalition face, the coalition marking I forgot to mention on the clasp, and just this awesome Blue Label edition. All right, so guys, let's go ahead and throw it on the wrist. Now I'm about 5'7.5", and I weigh about 180 pounds today, and I have a 7-inch wrist. So all these watches look big on me. So you know, like I said, if you in the past, if you're a big guy, you can rock these. If you're a small guy, like I'm not a huge guy, so you know, I mean, it's all about you wear what you want to wear. Let's take a look at it on the wrist. Absolutely stunning, folks. Really glad I made the decision to get this one and return the other one. All right, guys, absolutely beautiful. Tell me what you guys think. If you want to pick this up, do it ASAP. These are not going to last very long. I mean, I've checked a few sites, and the price is kind of jumping depending on where you buy it, but definitely something you're going to want to pick up before they're gone. One thing I want to note on, or just drop a quick comment on, or make a quick note on, is that I've worked a deal with a company who is a huge Invicta seller, and we have an arrangement where he's going to start sending me 5 watches at a time to review and share with you guys. So you're going to see a lot more Invicta watches on the channel. Finally got some kind of agreement where I will link directly to his store, where he's got phenomenal pricing as well on this stuff. So stay tuned for that. Remember to click like, subscribe to the channel if you like the content. And always, guys, have a wonderful day and take care.